triple great unclean one. That's all. That's the replay today. We've got a replay from Slappy the Lizard. He's taking on another friend of the channel, Calamity here, who has taken Slaanesh and Slappy here. Capitalizing on Slaanesh's lack of ranged and general lack of anti-large to put as many hit points in a large frame as he can here on the field. I mean, we're totaling like, what is that, like 36,000 HP, something like that, between these three single entities, so absolutely heinous. We've also got some Plague Bearers here to back them up, and looks like some Nurglings here in the sky, one Death's Head's Plague Drones, and a couple of Furies for some mobility and support. As for Calamity's Slaanesh, he's got Exalted Keeper of Secrets, 3 spawns backed up by Exalted Demonettes. Wow, very tall and elite build as well here. Hellstriders. So let's see if this high damage can get through. Ooh, we see a vein being used right out the gate to bring those Plague Drones down to the ground where they can be killed by the spawn. And the Exalted Demonettes, you see the Furies charging in as well. And the blob is gonna blob on through. Doom. I mean, I say blob. They are quite blobby boys, these great unclean ones. They're gonna get in here, and immediately the Keeper of Secrets probably wants to be anywhere else except exactly where he is. Being Spirit Leeched now. Oh, this Italor Death. Okay. Interesting. Not even attempting to heal this much HP, but everything gets rampaged as well, which is just fine. There's also a lot of debuffs happening. You can see the Furies are getting absolutely clobbered here. But everything else has the HP to just kind of weather these debuffs and stand strong. And the Keeper of Secrets is balleting away. And then the grind fight will ensue. One thing Calamity could try and do here, it's a little bit risky depending on if you're taking damage as you're disengaging, but you could try and cycle charge these Demonettes a little bit. You know, with the spawns kind of body blocking and screening, they might be able to actually disengage relatively cleanly here. And then if you could, like, come around and maybe find angles to charge in, just to eliminate all these Plague Bearers. But it does look like the Plague Bearers are dying fairly quickly. That being said, more Spirit Leech on the Keeper of Secrets. And wisely, Calamity just keeping the Hellstriders back and out for the time being. A little Stream of Corruption will do really efficient damage against those Demonettes. Those bound Stream of Corruptions from the Great Unclean One, which I believe they have... Do they have 3 or 2 now? I forget. I think it's 2, I want to say. Certainly that one's been used. Uncle Frunkle's also got Spirit Leech, and then he's got this Defiling Deluge as well as Stream of Corruptions. So there you go. Yeah, that's the Vile Deluge there, I think. Just doing some nice AoE damage in general, but the support units are almost gone already. You can see that it's just the Great Unclean Ones, so... Not a ton of tactics. Today's a lot more about army selection and kind of unit interactions, which is certainly something to be aware of. But the Demonettes here, in a surround, especially with their charge bonus active, if they're getting the benefit of that devastating flanker in a surround on a single entity, they can do hilarious amounts of damage. But right now, there's a lot of units blobbing in, and so not any individual unit is able to, like, make great contact. A little bit hard to see because of all the bodies, but yeah, it does look like the Plague Bearers should be gone relatively shortly. This is a conquest game, and Slaanesh has enough capture weight to just hold the objective, so Slappy will need to not take too long to actually execute the win here. Granted, it is quite a long time for the conquest points to tick up, but let's see here. A little Spirit Leech there. And a little Curse of the Slug as well. Try and slow everything down. Make sure things can't cycle charge too much. Yeah, you can see the Hellstriders attempting to cycle charge. They have a little bit of anti-large, but when they do get their charge bonus active, Uncle Frunkle does take some damage here. So, again, I think it can be tricky. And certainly, like, cycle charging infantry, you wouldn't necessarily think of. But when it comes to Slaanesh infantry in particular, like these Demonettes, I would probably, again... Not trying to backseat General too much here, but I would probably say just leave the spawn in, and then, like, charge the Demonettes in, charge them out, and while the Demonettes are cycling out, then you cycle the Hellstriders in and kind of alternate them, you know, in and out, right? So that they're not all blobbing at the same time. Each unit has more of a chance to get kind of a good surround on contact. Bringers of Beguilement, unfortunately, have just taken too much damage at this point. They're going to evaporate. Same thing These other Exalted Demonettes, their low HP pulls means they're quite vulnerable to those kind of AoE damage effects, especially direct damage in particular. But yeah, Exalted Keeper gets a nice little side charge in here. Gonna maybe take out Uncle for Uncle, but he's yeah, these single entities just have so much health, so it's gonna take some time to get through. But let's see. Ooh, we've got a Seductive Glory. That is going to reduce the melee defense. You can see that they time Hellstriders in with it at the same time. The Keeper of Secrets also hanging around, kind of trying to capitalize on this. A little bit risky. If he takes another attack or two, he's probably done. Yeah, see, even there is like taking some direct damage from the Pestilent Decay. Ooh, and then the Spirit Leech just kills him, and that leads immediately to army losses. Yeah, man. It's tough. It's a hard knock life for Slaanesh out there, and definitely a little bit of a build roulette happening here, but this is something that can happen. I don't remember, actually, in tournament rule sets, if the Greater Unclean One counts as an Unclean One. Maybe this isn't technically legal under tournament rule sets, but that's fine. It's just a quick battle anyway. Definitely an interesting one, though, and something to learn, I think, here. Yeah, from Calamity's perspective, again, even though the Demonettes largely did fairly well, I think I'd just be curious, maybe, if he had tried to cycle charge them. It's definitely possible that they take enough damage, like, as they're cycling out, that it's not really worth it to get the extra charge bonus each time you charge in. But again, just from my perspective, I would think if you're kind of alternating the Hellstriders and the Exalted Demonettes, right, maybe they can work down these units a little bit, and then, yeah, just keep the Exalted Keeper away, maybe, until the like, very, very end game. But certainly easy for me to sit here and say that, but fun one for sure. Yeah, the Exalted Great Unclean One basically acting as a Mortis engine, having so much health, definitely can affect some matchups, and especially when your opponent doesn't have access to a lot of ranged units, like, you know, Slaanesh, Warriors of Chaos, Khorne, units like, factions like that, can definitely get punished pretty heavily if they don't have the proper tools to take out these big, massive single entities, and it's definitely something to consider. Uncle for Uncle actually gets some pretty respectable value as well on his direct damage AoE. So yeah, and I mean, Kugath is one thing, but the Exalted Great Unclean One is significantly faster because he walks around on his own two legs. He doesn't get carried around on the palanquin. I say significantly faster. He's basically like infantry speed, more or less, right? Which is definitely better. But, yeah, I'd have to actually go and look at the tournament rule sets to see... even in unit caps, actually, I think... maybe just because I have the 3 rare single entities. Okay, yeah, so they do count as different things in the unit caps, at the very least. But, yeah, interesting, too, to just see, with just trusting that you have enough HP on the field, not really worrying to bring much besides just Spirit Leech, right? Maybe Life Leeching for the extra Winds of Magic it gives you. And then other abilities, you can come in here and pick and choose, you know, if you have the extra gold, but certainly just a very basic, oh, not Fate of Buda, let's go Spirit Leech. Very basic kit like this definitely makes a lot of sense, kind of cost optimized down, and then you know, you still have your army ability heal. I guess you could maybe take some units with additional passive healing, but just, you know, this as it is, it's a lot of spend on single entities, but so much HP. You know, when I think about the other greater demon levels for, like, Tzeentch, you know, Slaanesh, even Khorne, they're generally not seen very much, you know, from Bloodthirsters to Keepers of Secrets, and the Lord of Change. You just don't see them super often. I mean, not that you see Great Unclean Ones super often either, but because they have the most HP, and arguably, I mean, just straight up 5,000 more HP than the Lord of Change, right? I know it's more expensive as well, but it's a similar sort of unit classification, right? Yeah, like 4,000 more HP than the Bloodthirster, which is more expensive, flying, in my opinion, worse. The flying is nice, but it has some animations issues even to this day. Technically, some stats are better on paper, but again, 4,000, like 45,000, 4,500 HP, 4,600 even, to be more specific. It's so much. So much. And granted, this thing's a lot more vulnerable to missiles, yes, but against factions which might lack it, again, like Khorne themselves, or even, you know, in a Nurgle mirror match, which I don't think anyone ever wants to watch, against Slaanesh, Warriors of Chaos, obviously Vampire counts are another one that would get punished very heavily by something like this. So it definitely means that Nurgle, you know, they're king of blob fights in many ways right now. I'd be curious to see, like, really all-in degenerate blob builds. I think Nurgle probably wins most engagements. But you let me know down in the comments below. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you something a little different today, if you like this sort of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Hit that bell notification. Every time I upload a new video, you'll be notified. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.